A cat named Mara did something that no one could have ever imagined. She didn't just look after her own kittens. She adopted 4 orphaned baby squirrels who had lost their mother. Mara, once a simple shelter cat, became an unexpected hero when she welcomed these tiny creatures into her family and raised them as her own. It all started when the squirrels were found alone, abandoned in a tree that was cut down during routine maintenance. Without their mother, their chances of survival were slim. But thanks to Mara's surprising maternal instincts, their fate took a dramatic turn. Today, we'll share the full story of how this unlikely family came together, how Mara became their protector, and how the love and care of one cat changed the lives of these helpless squirrels forever. Stay tuned, because what happens next will truly warm your heart. In the small town where this story unfolded, springtime is when the local authorities typically inspect the parks and wooded areas for trees that need to be removed. This particular day seemed like any other. A group of workers were cutting down a series of old trees that posed a risk to visitors. One by one, the trees fell until they reached an ancient oak that had been standing for decades. As the chainsaw buzzed and the tree toppled to the ground, the workers noticed something unusual. Inside the hollow of the tree, nestled deep within, were 4 tiny baby squirrels. Their eyes were barely open, and their bodies were fragile and small. Without their mother, they had little hope of surviving. The workers did the only thing they could think of. They gathered up the tiny creatures and contacted the local animal rescue shelter. The shelter staff, used to handling abandoned pets and injured animals, were immediately moved by the situation. But they also knew that caring for baby squirrels was no easy task. They required constant feeding, warmth, and protection. One of the shelter workers, who had a deep love for animals, had an idea. It was bold and maybe even a little risky, but desperate times called for desperate measures. Mara, a mother cat at the shelter who had recently given birth to a litter of kittens, was known for her nurturing personality. Maybe, just maybe, Mara could help. Cats and squirrels aren't exactly natural companions. In the wild, a cat might see a squirrel as prey. But the shelter staff believed that Mara's maternal instincts might override those natural hunting impulses. With the baby squirrels squeaking softly in their arms, they approached Mara's enclosure, hoping for the best but prepared for the worst. As they gently placed the baby squirrels near Mara, the tension in the room was palpable. Would she accept them, or would she see them as something to chase? At first, Mara seemed uncertain. She sniffed at the tiny creatures, her whiskers twitching as she carefully examined each one. The shelter workers held their breath, watching her every move. And then the unexpected happened. Mara, instead of turning away or hissing, began to lick the baby squirrels one by one. She cleaned them as if they were her own kittens. It was an unbelievable sight, a predator showing pure affection to what would normally be prey. From that moment on, Mara became the baby squirrels' protector. She nursed them alongside her kittens, letting them snuggle into her fur, keeping them warm. The baby squirrels, initially frightened and confused by their new surroundings, began to relax. They clung to Mara as if she were their true mother, instinctively seeking comfort and safety in her presence. But this wasn't just a story of maternal love, it was a story of survival. The shelter staff quickly realized that Mara's milk wasn't enough to feed both her kittens and the squirrels. The baby squirrels needed extra care. The staff began taking shifts, bottle feeding the squirrels every few hours to ensure they got the nutrition they needed to grow. It was a grueling task, but no one was willing to give up on these tiny lives. As the days passed, the bond between Mara and her unusual brood grew stronger. The baby squirrels, now fully trusting of their adoptive mother, followed her everywhere. They mimicked the behavior of the kittens, climbed on her back, nestled into her side, and even started to play with their kitten siblings. It was a strange and beautiful sight. Squirrels and kittens raised together as one family. The story of Mara and the baby squirrels didn't stay within the walls of the shelter for long. One of the staff members posted a few photos online, and before they knew it, the story had gone viral. People from all over the world were captivated by the unusual family. Messages of support flooded in, donations poured in, and visitors came from near and far just to catch a glimpse of Mara and her adopted squirrels. For weeks, Mara's family became the heart of the shelter. The baby squirrels grew stronger with each passing day, thriving under Mara's care and the watchful eyes of the shelter staff. The kittens, too, grew healthy and strong, and the bond between the two species deepened. But as time went on, the staff at the shelter knew they had to face an inevitable decision. The baby squirrels were growing up quickly, and soon they would need to be released back into the wild. It was a bittersweet realization. Mara had done an extraordinary job raising them, but they were, after all, wild animals. Their natural instincts would eventually take over, and they would need to return to the forests where they belonged. The staff prepared for the day when the squirrels would be strong enough to leave the shelter. They began transitioning the baby squirrels to more independent feeding and allowed them to explore their surroundings outside of Mara's enclosure. And then the day came. The squirrels, now fully grown, were ready to be released into the wild. It was an emotional day for everyone at the shelter, especially for the staff who had cared for them from the moment they were found in that hollow tree. The release took place in a nearby forest, not far from where they had originally been found. As the shelter staff opened the doors to the carriers, the squirrels hesitated for a moment, as if unsure of what to do next. But soon their natural instincts kicked in. One by one, they scampered off into the trees, climbing higher and higher until they disappeared into the branches. It was a moment of triumph, but also of sadness. Mara, the cat who had saved their lives, stayed behind at the shelter. Her job as their protector was done. She returned to caring for her kittens, who were also growing up quickly. But there was a sense of pride in her. She had done something extraordinary, something that defied the laws of nature. Mara's story didn't end there. She remained at the shelter, a local hero to all who visited. Her fame continued to grow, and people from all over the country came to see the cat who had adopted baby squirrels. For Mara, it was just another day of being a mother, a role she had embraced with all her heart, no matter the species of her babies. The baby squirrels, now back in the wild, occasionally made appearances near the shelter grounds. Some of the staff swore they had seen them darting through the trees, as if they hadn't forgotten where they came from. And perhaps they hadn't. After all, Mara had given them more than just food and shelter. She had given them a chance at life. In the end, this story is a testament to the power of love and the bonds that can form in the most unlikely of circumstances. Mara, a cat who could have easily followed her instincts, chose compassion instead. She became a mother to creatures that in any other situation would have been her prey. And in doing so, she reminded us all that love knows no boundaries, not even between species. So, the next time you think about the natural order of things, remember Mara and her baby squirrels. Because sometimes the most extraordinary bonds are formed in the most unexpected ways. So, the next time you think about the natural order of things, remember Mara and her baby squirrels. Because sometimes the most extraordinary bonds are formed in the most unexpected ways. Thank you for watching our video. If you like it, don't forget to like our video and subscribe for more. We love you.